Okay. Act 1 for fun. Cottage cheese. 1, 2. I hope I'm parking this in the right spot. Anyway, Act 1 for fun. Cottage cheese edition. I started doing this a while back, probably around 1.0 release, mostly because I wanted to see just how much I could possibly do before needing to move on to Act 2 and then Act 3, etc., etc. Cottage cheese was a little bit of a thing I started roughly around 1.0. And I have since then wanted to see how many bosses I can possibly kill in Act 1, how many other things I could possibly find before moving on to the next acts, etc., etc. So, aside from what you see here, which you will basically need, you're going to be wanting these materials right here that are in the travel bags. This is precisely what you will need to actually build a teleporter and the castle itself. Now, 1,000 bones is probably from the Mist Brazier. I'm pretty sure that's what it's from. But this is the amount of resources you will need. Well, let's just remove that. That's what you'll need in order to make this house of cottage cheese. Again, the concept behind it was relatively just within my head. I wanted to do this mostly because I wanted to see just how many enemies, rolling bosses. I wanted to see just how much I could possibly do, really, before moving on to the next acts. And yeah, this is cottage cheese basically. It allows me to go and do things like, oh, I don't know, kill a roaming boss like Jakira, for example, in order to actually get access to the slashers as soon as Act 2 becomes available, and other things to keep in mind. But here you see I am actually building the castle itself, and it should be precisely the amount of resources you will need to actually build it. Why it's called cottage cheese? Well, I mean, it's a very small castle. You're not intended to actually build it up all the way until you've done everything you can possibly do. What I like to do with these doors is make sure that they're servant doors, because I don't want my servants coming into the castle. If you don't know anything about that, servants will actually enter into the castle wherever you have tiles placed. So keep that in mind. And there we go. And then I'll go ahead and put a Miss Brazier right here. I do tend to like have one right here, so I can watch the show and fireworks and everything going on. Castle, and then I'll build my teleporter, usually on top, so that way I can, have some form of access to my castle. Well, actually, you can see that this is basically what cottage cheese is supposed to be. I do have myself a coffin, mostly just in case I die wherever I'm relocated. It's going to happen, so there's that. I have a couple of storages in case I do want to store some stuff and not go all the way back to my main castle. Devour, so I can crunch up things that I happen to find. This back entrance, which will go up to the stairs, which will lead up to this particular area, and so I can go to my teleporter rather than having to plant myself near a teleporter in order to actually, run to my castle. And a Miss Brazier for watching the show when it goes down here. We hop down here and we can actually see that this little particular area, I have this right here. As you can see, I do have 2 servant castles. I haven't been able to get enough greater blood essence yet, but I will. And the reason why I have a servant door here. Servants will not wander around the castle grounds regardless of whether or not it is on your territory. I don't know why they won't do that anymore. It used to be that they would. Maybe, I don't know. But as you can see, this blue line right here shows where all the servants could possibly walk. They do not. They will only walk on castle tiles. That is it. So if you leave this door unlocked, they'll go right in, and that means that your servants right here that are used to killing anything that's roaming boss-like won't be area, which means that you'll suddenly have to go over here, summon the servant, and come back. Depending on what you have set up for your server, I tend to have something kind of like maybe 5 servants at level 2 Castle Heart. 5 servant coffins at level 2. What I like to do is upgrade this as high as I can possibly go. Right now, I don't really care too much for it. The idea is basically just to upgrade it enough to where I can get enough servant coffins. You can go up to all the way up to level 4, provided you can find the resources for it, which shouldn't be really too hard, especially if you are doing your exploration and breaking boxes. I have my servants out here stationed and facing this way. Now, the servants will usually all migrate into this general area, but for the most part, they'll stay right here in front of their coffins, provided that they cannot move anywhere else. I like to have one tractor beamer here, a nun and a cleric, and then another nun and maybe a light weaver here. And then when a roaming boss happens to come around, or any kind of roaming enemy, the enemies or my servants will catch on to him. The tractor beamer will start pulling in the boss to him, and then everybody else will start wailing on him, because that's how it works. It's literally one of those things where I wanted to see just how much you can get done with just servants by themselves. You can get a lot of bosses killed with just servants by themselves. And even at gear score level 27, and if you're good enough to actually go to some of the areas like Gloomrot and other spots, you can probably easily get a hold of, say, like a tractor beamer, rail cannon. I do like to get a hold of a cleric, 2 nuns, and a light weaver, because light weavers hit very hard. They have a dot damage with their holy abilities, and 2 nuns overlapping each other with healing Aurora was pretty good. A cleric will heal whoever is injured, so you'll shield slam into other people, providing shields for every fucking body. And she mostly does prioritize healing and, protection overall. A few other things you could probably add here to it is, again, more storage. You could probably add a few more things. This isn't really something you want to make a whole castle out of until you're done. So, don't worry too much about refinement stuff. Don't worry about the knowledge. Don't worry about growing plots or anything else. You don't really need anything other than maybe from servants, coffins, teleporter, and your coffin for you in case something should happen to you. And you will die. It more than likely will happen. So you want to be fairly close to where the action is. If you happen to die while watching the action, which will happen, which in that case, you'll just pop up right here and you'll go right back into it. If you happen to take damage, you can just run in here and bind into your go into your coffin and sleep. Literally easy. This is a very small and simple, easy outfit. 3 in front, 9 in the middle. 1 more here, plus staircase that leads up. 2 right here to lead to the second story. Go into this teleporter, and you'll have a Mispers here. Sometimes I do like to have myself a castle throne. I don't have that yet, as you can plainly see. But it doesn't really matter too much, mostly because I'm just starting this out. So there's that. If you haven't seen any of the servants being killed by this particular method using that Cottage Cheese methods, I do have at least a half a dozen videos of them out there showing you how they got killed. Roaming bosses include Gore Crusher the Behemoth, Jakira, the Shadow Huntress, Vincent the Frostbringer, Bane, hell, even Simon Belmont the Vampire Hunter. These are all very high level individuals in the very late area, like very here. Gore Crusher's here, Belmont's right here, Jakira's probably right here somewhere, or maybe you got Vincent the Frostbringer, Bane, Jade. All of them are in this general area. I haven't really been able to get Christina, the Sun Priestess, but I'd imagine if you could pull her just close enough to where the tractor beamer could get her, that'd be great. But honestly, I could care less about that. Christina's kind of a meh sort of boss, so who cares? Basically, getting as many kills as you possibly can, especially since Vincent the Vampire Hunter, or Tristan the Vampire Hunter, does patrol along this path. So if I happen to see him one day, and I do have some servants, but more than likely, I will have him get killed in this general area, which is quite nice. But as you can see, this is just basically Cottage Cheese. Very simple, a very easy sort of setup in case you are looking to see if you can get the most out of your servants. Try to do as much, squeeze as much power as you can early on in the game before moving on to Act 2. That's really just what this is all about. Just for fun. That's it.